Afternoon, everybody. Jeff from Muswaukie Valley Garage. While I'm waiting for parts for the Mustang, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the cost of automotive repairs and why it is so expensive to repair vehicles these days. The older vehicles, like pre-95 or something like that, right around that age, you didn't have pretty much sophisticated systems that you have now. You didn't need a computer to diagnose the onboard computer and find out, what's going on. They didn't have too many oxygen sensors about that time previous to that, so those things weren't going bad. You did not have electronic distributors. They were just they came in like around the 70s or so. You had points and condenser inside a distributor cap, and if you had a matchbook or a worn dime, you could pretty well take and set the points on a car, and everything would be okay. Now you need a computer. It's a TS-808 from Altec, or Autel rather, to plug into the OBD2 port to take and tell you what codes are going on. You can also look at live data. And then if you're working on TPMS systems, which are tire pressure management systems, they have sensors in each wheel. They can tell you what the tire pressure is. And there's a light that comes on in the dash, tells you, oh, I'm getting a flat tire, or I got a nail in my tire, one of my tires is low. And then on some jobs, if you're working on TPMS systems, in addition to this, you need this. This is a tool that is a computer that is specific for TPMS sensors that can trigger them. And let me show you just for one job. These two things right here are approximately $1,500 between these two pieces of equipment. So let me show you how they're used. Okay, so if we're going to work on a TPMS system, I've already brought up the manual selection screen. So you go into TPMS, okay, and then this is a Ford, obviously. And then you do manual selection. Okay, they ask you what car you're working on. It's going to be Mustang. Then they ask you what year, model. So this is a 2006 to 2009. It tells you the frequency of the sensors that are in TPMS. So you go ahead and select that. Okay, now they're asking you, if you put in a new TPMS sensor, okay, you must go through a relearn procedure generally. Okay, we have everything settled down in this car, so we're going to say no. We don't want to take and delete the existing TPMS sensor. All right. So this is a screen that came up with some information from the last time we were working on the vehicle. Okay, usually in here it will have the numbers in the hexadecimal digital system. There's two systems. There's hex that you use letters and numbers to represent digital quantities, and then there's binary, which is just ones and zeros. It tells you how many pounds per square inch are in a tire. It tells you what frequency it is, what the temperature is, and your battery's all right in that sensor. So if you go in and read all of them, it'll go ahead and come in here and it'll give you all the information. You can tell if you have a bad sensor. Right down here, there is a trigger, okay, that you can take and go left front, left rear, right rear, and you can go in and you can trigger those sensors using this tool. But I found out that doesn't work, okay, because what I did is I got 4 failures, okay. So I took the other tool that I have, okay, which is this one right here, and I use this to take and go to each sensor, and you have to take and set this up in 2006, 2009. Okay, scan all sensors. Yeah, you want to do that. Or you can scan an individual sensor. Okay. Okay, it asks, do you want to take and clear the previous data? And I put no. This right here is what a completed screen will look like. This is telling you how much pressure in kilopascals. I don't know, the metric system with me never did really catch on. I didn't really take much interest in it. I'd rather have a 3/8 and a 5/16 than a 10 and 12 millimeter. Okay, so you can go in and you take this notch right here and you put it where the valve stem is, and then you hit this key right here and it will trigger the sensor, and then back on the computer screen it will tell you, okay, this one here is good. All right, then you move over to the other one, and the way you take and do that is you just press on it. There you go. Okay, and then you can go ahead and rescan that one. And if you use a trigger on here, it doesn't work, but if you go out and you trigger using this one here, you do. Okay, so there are little tricks like this all through the automotive industry. So when you go and take your car to the mechanic, you're paying for his knowledge, and you're also paying part of the tools that that he's amassed to take and work on your project. And it reminds me of a story that there was a big company that has a very specialized machine, and the machine's acting up. And there was one engineer that worked there for like 30 years, and then he retired. Okay, and so they called him up, and they asked him to they can come in and repair it. So what he did is he came in, and he got a hammer, and he hit the machine in a particular place, and the machine started working. Okay, so he sent him a bill for $10,000. Okay, and the management there were very disturbed and asked him why it was that he sent him a bill for $10,000. And he explained, well, it was $9,960 to know where to hit the machine, and the other $40 was for the hammer. Okay, so expertise is everything when you're dealing with these cars these days. And of course you must have the tools to take and work on them, and that's part of the reason that things are so expensive. If you take your vehicle to a dealership, you're going to wind up paying $200 an hour for labor. So that's why I always encourage you, take a whack at your own problems and see how far you can get with the equipment that you have. If you have friends that are mechanics, tap their brains, ask them, well, I have a situation here. Can you give me any ways to go? And they'll usually take and help you out if they're good old boys. Okay? But their time is valuable too. All right? So take them out to lunch or buy them a beer. So I hope I've given you a little insight as to what's going on with these things and why it's so expensive to take and work on cars these days. All right. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, and I'll see you next time.